when we last left the party.
How would you feel about a trip to Algier? I've heard of a necromantic cult.
I am one of them. She kind of reaches into her robe and she pulls out a red shard of glass wrapped in cloth.
I'm gonna look through the red lens at the moon, trying to work out this puzzle.
Yaga, what do your swamp eyes see?
We're going west out of the city.
The two necromancers on the stage let their hoods down. The first is an elderly gentleman. The other figure on the stage is a small Kenku woman.
Oh, I didn't realize we have new members. Come, approach the stage.
And then you hear a voice. I don't think it's a voice you recognize.
I smell you, Yaga. I'm coming, Yaga.
You're standing in this clearing with this beautiful glittering oasis in front of you. In front of you stands a figure you saw in a drawing. The Tyrant of the Sands, Aijal, stands before you.
Yaga, so you've come at last.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Whack Roll Vagabonds. My name is Luke, I'm your GM, and I just created the fastest character ever made.
Hi, I'm Al. I'm not like other girls. I'm 60 weasels in a trench coat, and I play Yaga.
Hi, I'm Dora, or Dee, and I'm the one who Luke made the quick character for, and I'm playing the front end, Flurg.
Hi, I'm Tom. Wallace and Gromit, Chicken Run, and Flushed Away all take place in the same universe, and the eventual crossover will be the true endgame. And I'm playing George, the back end.
So Flurg and George.
George Daedalus.
George Daedalus.
Daedalus.
Daedalus. So last week we ended in a glade. You were in a heavily wooded area with a gentle waterfall and a trickling river.
In my head.
You are all... yes,
Yeah,
in Yaga's
let's point
head.
that out. This is
Let's not forget.
The three of you stand in the mouth of a clearing, in which, hunched over the water, is a dragonborn. He wears these huge, billowing, purple robes that bulk out at weird intervals, and he is holding a staff which he props himself up on. He has these pitch black scales with silver flecks on, and I don't know how dragons would show their age, how dragonborns would show their age, but he is elderly, maybe 80, 90. I think that for the sake of the story, right now, Yaga, you are Yaga, obviously, but either side of you are two figures you don't recognize. But you also have this sense of familiarity towards them. You know them in your head by name, Flurg and George. Let's start with George. Would you like to describe yourself, the back end?
George is a barrier, which in D&D is basically a centaur but goat. So his torso is that of a rippled, studly man. With long brown hair and stubble, and his back end is that of a large goat. He also has an accompanying pair of horns, and he's very handsome.
So, Flurg's currently in, a mid-lunge position with massive muscular legs that are, as smooth as a baby's bottom, shining, glimmering in the light, and atop of these very human, muscular legs is a scraggly goat torso, and just full on, it's just a goat plopped on top of a man's legs. He's got some knuckle dusters attached to his hoofs, and likes to bleat every now and then.
Thanks, Dora. Okay, now, to take a quick break out of character while we're in this flashback sequence, Tom is going to be playing George the warrior, the fighter.
He's a fighter, yeah.
Yep. And then we've got Flurg the monk.
Fucking Flurg.
We're ruining Yaga's like backstory with the half man, half goat, and half goat, half man.
Yes.
Okay. Aijal stands up, like looking at you. He definitely clocks you very quickly here. Now, Yaga, you know that you are looking for him, and you know that you are like scared in a way. There's this sense inside of you, even though you are yourself in memory and being in sense, you are also in a way not. You're hearing echoes of a life not lived. Because I couldn't explain that in a less vague way.
Don't worry, Yaga. We're here for you.
Well, here to guide you.
Oh my god. Oh,
I have dark vision. Like all goats.
thanks.
Because goats can't be scarier than knowing now that they can see you and you can't see them.
Yaga like pinches the space between her eyes. She's like, "What? Why am I here? Remind me, please."
No. I think, Yaga, you do that, and in that instance, you have this sudden realization: your hand is completely different. It's a different skin tone. It's got tiny imperfections and flecks on it that you just don't recognize.
Okay, so I'm staring and screaming at my own hands. I'm super stoned.
Do you want to sit down, Yaga? We've been travelling west for quite a while.
Well, that guy just stood up. I don't want to look intimidated.
You don't want the villain to stand up and for you to have a quick picnic.
Yeah, no, that's even with as little as I know, kind of don't want to show weakness.
Aijal takes like one really slow lumbering step forward. Like he has to move out his staff first, and he almost drags his hulking, like almost like you can't see it, but like underneath that robe there are bumps and ridges, and he's quite like large almost in a way that shouldn't be natural.
I didn't realise that he was right in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
He's in a clearing. You are in the mouth of it. He is moving towards you. And I think as he does, he kind of hisses at you and just sort of says, "You can't stop me, yeah.
Now that might be the case, but I think I ought to. Something's telling me this isn't right.
Yeah.
We must get back what he nicked, at the very least.
You shall hand over what you've stolen, fiend, and pay for your crimes.
Bleh.
Yaga, at this point, you have a sort of flash in your mind when they say that something's been stolen. And you have this sudden recollection of a word. Now, you can give me an Arcana check now. See if you know what that means.
12.
When they say something's been stolen, you get this flash in your mind of the word soulstone. Mm-hmm. And with your knowledge check there, what you know is that is something that is used in quite a lot of necromantic magic. But I'm not going to be able to give you much more in regards to that.
Okay.
Aijal sort of cackles. It sort of reverberates from within him in the robes.
Daddy no like.
Oh,
My
no.
grandmother listens to this podcast.
We know.
The sanctum will have its way. We will restart the world.
And he sort of laughs and he raises his staff out. Can we all please roll initiative?
Ugh,
Oh, shit.
because I'm so good at rolling. +2 to initiative, so that's a 20.
I rolled a 19.
7.
Flurg, you get to act first.
Flurg is going to initiate flurry of blows, and he's gonna basically spin around like a sort of tornado and try and like triple whack the boy.
So Flurry of Blows is a monk ability. First of all, you have to make an attack with your monk weapon, which would be, in this case, your knuckle dusters, or will you put them down as a mace?
20.
Yep, that hits. Now you roll damage.
Sweet as. That is a 10.
10. Okay, so that's the first hit with the mace. So you crash your first blow Where do you aim for?
I'd say across the... Is across the face a bit too much? I'd say, let's just say, like, the side of him. Like, his side.
Okay, so you're aiming for, like, the into the robe.
Yeah.
Could you please give me a dexterity save?
Oh, no. I wish I went for his face now. Oh, no. That's with my +4, that's a 7. You know how much I love the number 7.
So you crack your fist into let me rephrase that. You crack your hoof into the into the robe, and like you hear a crunch of like shattering bone.
Nice.
And then from within the robes, like from the robe parts, and 3 skeletal hands fly out of it and grab onto your fist.
No!
So you are currently restrained. It means you can't move, but you can still take the rest of your actions.
Yeah, I'll do the rest of my flurry of blows.
Yeah, because you've still got 1 hoof free, so...
Yeah, and also my feet. Don't forget my muscular legs. They can do stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And speaking of, he's gonna sort of like kick up and try and like smash onto one of these like skeletal hand things to sort of like release him. That's a 26.
Hits. God damn, your character is good.
I know, right? Oh my god. Philippe would be dead by now.
Yeah, you would have just killed Philippe. Congratulations.
That's a 6.
6 damage, cool.
Yep.
Okay. You've still got 1 more attack if you want to be using your for your flurry of blows there.
Okay, so then he's just gonna essentially bring his head down and just smash his face into the skeletal hand, just like a good ram kind of thing.
Okay.
That is a 18.
That hits.
You crunched him.
And that is a 8.
8. Okay. 24 points of damage done in 1 attack, Dora. So I think what happens here is you get your first punch in with one of your knuckle dusters, and then these arms obviously grab you, and then your second hit you kind of like smash through one and your head butts through the other. When you headbutt, you feel more of those arms from within sort of like clawing at you, and as you retreat you have to like jump back a bit to stop yourself from getting grappled again. And when you do, you see that the robes have started to part. Underneath the robes, you can't see Ijal's body. All you can see are almost like sewn onto him, half rotting, deformed other bodies. So you can see like half of a torso, an arm holding a scimitar, sort of strapped onto him, like rushedly, like the flesh on it like decaying, so you can see bits of skull and bone.
Jesus
You
Christ,
can see
dude.
underneath skeletons like attached to him, still alive, like reaching out, clawing towards you.
No wonder why this guy's gone evil. He clearly can't get laid. So also, as part of my flurry of blows, I can impose an effect on the target. What does knocked prone mean exactly?
You fall over.
Okay, then I think I'm going to impose that effect on him, so he needs to make a dex save.
Yes, he does. Okay, he got a 15.
Oh, piss, it's 14. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he staggers, but I think, and you see for a second beneath this, like, mass of flesh and bone, you see, like, one of his own, like, dragonkin scaled foot, like, landing, and he stumbles, but it's almost, like, caught by one of the skeletal arms, like, positioning downwards and, like, pushing him back to his feet. Yaga, it's your turn.
See, I wanna cast Dispel Magic, but I don't want to waste it if like I've got a suspicion that this necromancy is like of a higher level spell than I can cast.
Well, I would say that you are certain of that. I'm with you. I don't think I don't think it's fair to kind of like
Waste your move.
Yeah, like.
Oh well, no. Animate Dead is 3rd level though.
Animate Dead is a 3rd level. That would allow you to make some sort of mindless thrall, this sort of hybrid monstrosity that you're seeing right now.
He's casting it at level 20.
like almost. This isn't something that would be cast in a single spell. This is some like arcane ritual, involves some sort of item that's caused this. That is like
He's using homebrew magic.
this is homebrew magic. You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I think that Primal Savagery takes a turn to cast, and then I can use it. Yeah, and then I can use it as like a melee weapon for the turns
Yeah.
after. All right, well, let's do that then.
Okay, you do that.
Yep,
And-
I do that.
Yep. So you have your acid claws out and ready now.
Yep.
George, it's your turn.
George's turn. So George is going to start scraping his goat hoof on the ground behind him, and then charge straight at Ijal, which is a special barrier-only trait, using a ram as an attack.
I think I've done charge before, but okay.
Oh, well,
Yes, they have.
I'm sorry. That's just what it was on the sheet. Anyway, I mean, is Ijal within 20 feet of me?
Yes.
Within 20 feet.
Yes.
Oh, so I can't use charge.
Then he's 30 feet away from you.
Thank you.
Jesus.
You're welcome.
I was backing up while this was going on. That's why my that's why my initiative was so low. I'm not slow. I just prepare. So I'm gonna run at him. That is that plus that, so that's a 16.
That hits.
Thank God. Okay, so the ram does 1d6, but if I do, but with the charge, I get to add another 2d6 and have a chance to knock him prone.
Okay.
So that is, it's d6 plus strength anyway. So that's 8 plus 5. So that's 14 damage. And
Yep.
let's see if I knock him prone. Strength saving throw. So it's 15 as well for this saving throw.
That is a 15, so he passes.
Oh, we can't knock this boy down. He's sturdy. But never mind. Bonus action.
Okay, use your next action.
So
Welcome to... The party have just discovered melee weapons, and they're like, oh, look at this! This is fun!
Yeah. Fighters at 5th level can attack twice. So basically, after charging him, I'm gonna do a cool handbrake turn on my goat legs, and then charge forward with my lance readied.
Okay.
I'm gonna lance him with it. We're jousting now. So that is a 18. Oh, plus strength 22.
Hits.
Yeah. So that is a d12 plus 6 piercing damage. And plus the 2 from my proficiency thing.
Hit me, daddy.
8 plus 8, 16.
Fucking hell, guys.
It's so fun.
We're using melee for the first time.
But now it's Ijal's turn.
Uh-oh.
And Ijal raises his staff into the air. And there is a sort of crack. Not like any sound you've ever heard before. It almost sounds like the crack of like 2 pieces of glass breaking. And this slice appears in the air above you. And it slowly begins to rip open. And when it does, this like glowing blue light you can all see kind of like emerging from a point deep within the skeleton and bodies in his chest that Yaga you recognize to be the Soulstone.
Oh, cool.
Yup. This gateway opens up. Above you, you can see starlight. It flickers like fire, but it is dark and just this endless void. And from within it spills the blackness and a bitter cold. Let's have a look what this spell does. The void is filled with a cacophony of soft whispers and slurping noises. It's ASMR.
Bad.
You all become blinded. No, Yaga, you are not blinded.
Hooray. Why?
You can see this darkness swirling around your allies, but it doesn't quite reach you. You can hear the noises, but you can't see them. It is just that there is a darkness there as Because we said that Tom was 30 feet away, the spell is 20-foot radius.
Who turned out the lights?
And then I think, Flurg, you feel... That's a nat 20. You feel something hard smack right into your ribcage, Flurg. Let's see here.
No.
It is... Boof! As you take 22 points of bludgeoning damage.
Boy.
What?
Bye,
What?
Flurg.
Philippe would be dead.
It is now Flurg's turn. Flurg, you now take
Ah.
7 more damage. Like this unearthly coldness wash across you, and it like bites at your skin, and you know it's from the shadow all around you.
Running it was a bad idea. Can I boop and then leg it?
You can boop, but you have disadvantage.
Part of me just wants to bite him. Just go bite him and then run. Had the leg stride. How would I do biting?
That would be unarmed.
That'd be unarmed. Cool. I'm gonna crunch on his gross body with my teeth.
Go for it.
Crunch.
So roll 2d20 and take lowest.
Okay. And that is a 16.
That hits.
Ooh. Right, sweet as. Time to see how vicious his crunch is.
What's that, like a D3? D4, rather?
So monks actually have a thing called martial art, which allows their unarmed attacks to be very powerful. Dora's unarmed attacks are 1d6.
Jesus.
Plus 4.
Plus 4, yes.
And that was a 10.
Nice.
That's a 10. You take a big old bite. You feel like rotten flesh enter your mouth because, yeah, chomp. You feel some of it peel away like rotten fruit, but like
I have many regrets.
you spit it out instantly, but it's still gross, but you still hear like a grunt of like pain from Ijal.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna spend a key point to do step on the wind and go, run away! And leg it.
Seems fair. Okay, you feel like the bone arms swiping at you when you start to leave this cloud of darkness, but they can't land because obviously you were using disengage as an action. You run backwards, and after about 20 feet, you do make it out of the shadow. It is now Yaga's turn.
Hooray. You said
You cannot see Ijal.
You said I wasn't blinded.
No, but he is in this like bubble.
Oh,
of...
he's right. Okay. I'm with you. A 60-foot radius sphere of light spreads from the point you choose. The sphere is bright light and sheds dim light for an additional 60 feet. Fucking A.
I'm reading that spell as well, and I'm citing which one of these trumps. So, if any of this spell area... So, Daylight says, if any of this spell's area overlaps with an area of darkness created by a spell of 3rd level or lower, the spell that created darkness is dispelled. However, Hunger of Hadar says, no light, magical, or otherwise can illuminate the area.
Alright.
Well done, Dungeons and Dragons! You fucked yourself!
Fucking stupid.
Give me a wisdom check, like an actual spell attack roll. No, give me a spell attack roll on this. I think that's probably the fairest way of doing it.
So that's... Hang on, I can't remember to math. That's 25.
You cast this bright beam of light down, and I think the shadows themselves scream. This horrible, like, whispered yell.
Nice.
Like 1,000 voices echoing, and the darkness is dispelled.
Cool. I know I've done that.
I quite like that move, by the way. I'm proud of you.
Yay. I used my brain.
George, it's now your turn.
So the darkness is gone then?
Yes, otherwise you'd be taking more damage.
Yes. Thanks for that, Giaga. I'll get you back for it.
Cool.
Cool person I don't really know all that well.
Nice.
We've been travelling together, we're buddies. As part of my background, I get a gaming set, so we've been playing Travel Scrabble. Okay, I'm going to go lancing again. Going to double up on that lance action. 16 to hit? Oh wait, no, it's 6 plus 6. Sorry, so 14.
Ow!
Okay.
I bet you miss our
and then-
shit fighting character.
I miss your shit fighting so much.
And then I do it again.
I'm so proud of you, Tom.
Okay, so that time it was only a 14.
Only.
Does not hit. You miss.
Okay,
Oh.
never mind. Because beginning at 5th, because I'm going to use going to do that there action surge.
Yeah, of course you are.
Do it again. Okay, that time that was an 18.
Wait.
Hits.
Okay, so D12. That's a 3. 3 plus 6 plus 2, 11.
11.
Also,
Yes.
I mark him. Cavaliers, starting at 3rd level, I can menace my foes, foiling their attacks and punishing them for harming others.
And when you're
So-
at home, that does.
So basically, I whack him with my lance at hand and go, I shall smite thee, evil creature, for I am a champion of the light. A creature marked by me has disadvantage on any attack roll that doesn't target me. In addition, if it deals damage to anyone other than me, I can make a special melee weapon against them as a bonus action on my next turn.
When you strike Ajal, your lance goes straight through part of like some of the almost like stitching that attaches one of these bodies onto him, and you like drive your lance right through it, and it goes through so clean that one of these like disembodied torsos just sort of flops off.
Ew.
It raises an arm out and tries to crawl away, but then sort of dies just on the ground.
It's like, I'm free, I'm free.
Dang it.
When you do that, Ajal howls in pain, and so do all the skulls and half-rotten faces strewn about him, and he collapses panting, and he coughs, and some like black viscous liquid like comes out of his mouth, and he growls, and he tries to ready himself on his staff and collapses a little bit further,
Hey guys, I think I got him.
and then he starts to laugh.
Okay guys, I don't think I got him.
He just sort of looks at Yaga and says, "The Marquis cannot be stopped." And one of his own like dragon hands like reaches out from beneath the body, like the body's attached to him, and plunges into his own chest, and he tears out the soul stone. The soul stone starts to glow brightly, and Yaga, you feel awful. It is like the worst sense of dread that you've ever felt in your life. And all around you, the trees of this grove start to die. It takes maybe 10 seconds for them to turn brown and dull, and then rot, and then turn to dust. And it's not just here. For miles around, you can feel the agony of the earth. And when Ajal stands up, fully revigorated, you are standing in a desert.
Oh.
It is now his turn.
Ugh.
Oh.
Bitch.
Oh. He done made the desert.
Yes.
I think that he turns towards George.
Hi.
And you have this like sort of like flash in your mind, and it feels like all of the writhing corpses attached to him are reaching towards you. Could you please give me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh shit, I don't have... Oh wait, no, wisdom's okay, I think. Yeah, I've got +1. 14.
14?
Yeah.
That is just not enough.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Nice.
You take 23 points of damage as it feels like all of those arms on his body are reaching inside of your mind. You feel them like clawing away at whatever it is that makes you your consciousness.
Oh. I don't like this one bit.
Fun thing about this, they now always know the target's location until the spell ends, but only while you're on the same plane of existence.
Oh, so you could, like, totally blink and get out of here, right?
And now, because, you did taunt him,
Yes.
he's going to go at you. He's going to, like, spin around. You can see now that Warhammer that struck Flurg earlier. It is one of the skeletal bodies on his form is holding it. And his head spins around and the body sort of, like, turns with it. And from within comes another, like, slightly less rotted corpse wielding 2 scimitars.
Uh-oh.
And they swipe at your goatee rear end.
No.
And I think that this is... You see it coming. And George, like, drives its lance in while it's spinning, stopping the entire thing. Could you please give me a weapon attack?
A weapon attack with my lance?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Okay. That's a 17.
17. Yeah, that hits. Could you roll damage?
Oh, sweet. So, that's this. That's 8 plus 16.
16 damage. Yeah, he crit failed.
Oh my
So
god.
you drive your lance into it and you skewer off the body with the scimitars. Yeah, so he no longer has scimitars. Cool.
Nice.
Thanks, Tom. It is now Florig's turn again.
Sorry.
Right. So what does he have left on his body?
I like George. I don't
You
want him
can
to die.
see the warhammers and the staff that is being held in his own hand.
Everything I have is like close up. I'll probably have to gotta go back in again.
The shadows that were dealing damage are gone.
Yeah. I suppose it's not too bad. Yeah, the flag is just gonna
Flurg it up.
flag it up. I'm gonna say he charges back in, like he sort of rams in. He made a bit of distance with that run away,
Cool.
and now he's gonna like sprint it head
Yep.
first.
At which point Ijal is going to use his legendary action.
What?
Uh-oh.
Luke,
Legendary actions are actions that monsters can make that interrupt the flow of combat.
No.
Luke,
Yes.
can you not?
Oh no.
She has a good point. Can you not?
Is that Flurg down?
Let me
Who
have a look
knows?
here.
We'll see.
Flurg,
George is very attached to Flurg.
give me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, okay. At least it's not charisma. That's a 13. Oh no.
So, you start to sprint in towards Ijal, and you start to sink into the earth itself.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're all saying oh no.
Fuck's sake.
You are running, and suddenly you are like swamped in by this, and you're waist deep. It's just your goat half sticking up.
Oh no.
And these skeletal arms start to like claw at you, holding you down. You are restrained. Flurg takes 1 point of damage as these things claw at him. However, you are restrained, and let me just double check something. Okay, you can now give me an investigation check.
Oh, 18.
18. Fuck. Right. By the way, I want to just pull back from that scene for a second. Yaga and George, you just see Flurg stop running
Uh-huh.
and start sort of like bat at themselves with their hoof hands. They give themselves quite a nasty clunk in the head when they do that.
I know.
And then Flurg, you sort of shake your head, and the illusion put on by phantasmal force is dispelled.
Yay! Am I able to have my turn now?
Unfortunately not. The investigation check is your action.
I swear to God, Luke, how dare you?
Yaga, it's your turn.
Yes, 'tis. Okay, you said the soul stone was, like, in his chest cavity, right?
It is now in his hand.
Ooh.
It has also turned black.
Ugh. Don't like that. Still want it, though. and like run on up there and try to yank it out of where he's got it, like all the while just like clawing at his dumb face. So all of that just ties into my melee for that, which is
Okay, give me a melee attack roll.
yeah. 12. That's not a hit.
It is not a hit, I'm afraid. You scrabble at the gem, you claw at the hand. I think you still make contact, but like you just sort of peel away flesh harmlessly on the hand. Yeah. George, your turn.
Did this nasty man damage Flurg again? I can't remember.
Well, like, technically the spell caused Flurg 1 point of damage, but what you saw was that Flurg bapped himself in the head for 1 point of damage.
Fair enough. 17.
Hits.
I love this +7. So 11.
11.
And
11 points of damage.
And then I do it again.
Yeah, give him a bop.
Ooh. Ah. Okay, so that's a 9. That's 26.
Hits.
Don't hate me because you hate me. And that time that's only a 10. I know. It's only a 10.
Yeah,
That's
I had a cool boss fight with this weird necromancy skeleton thing, and I'm like,
I mean,
cool.
He's still pretty
Let's give
cool.
him a
He got back up.
Yeah, let's give him a resurrection mechanic because the party killed him in 2 rounds.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
Killed a forest with it. Look, he's still. I marked him again.
Yay! It is now Ijal's turn. How long does the mark last? Just a turn.
End of my next turn.
He raises the hand with the soulstone in it, and this thick, black, crackling arc of lightning shoots towards you, George.
George.
George, it's Flurg and George's son, is a 25 to hit, Tom?
That definitely hits.
Wonderful. Okay, he is casting this at a 2nd level spell.
Right.
So he gets the damage dice that Luke never uses very often. The D12.
I've never used my D12 before either. It's pretty fun.
I bought
7.
a D12.
Plus 12.
Wait, what? 7 plus
19.
12. 19 damage.
Yes.
Fuck me.
The spell, this beam of like black lightning crackles like along your lance, I think, and into you, and it just burns from the inside. And that burning never dissipates. It's still there.
I don't like it.
Ijal is holding that stone and is focusing on you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think that the skeleton holding the warhammer swings at Yaga, who is going for the soulstone.
Yeah.
So Yaga does. Oh my god, I'm doing these rolls are redonky donk.
Oh, no.
21 hit your AC.
Yeah.
No, disadvantage.
Oh,
It's the marked.
you are correct.
Let me at least be a good tank.
The other roll was a nat 20. but luckily we ignore that. So that's 1d10 plus 4, 13 points of damage on Yaga.
Alright.
As this warhammer like cracks into the arm that you were trying to scratch at.
It does mean that I get a bonus attack on him next turn.
Yes, you do. It is now Flurg's turn.
Does he have a crotch?
So he has
Several.
many crotches on him.
Is there like a main crotch?
Yes, but you can't see it. But you know it's there.
Okay.
Did it?
Okay.
It has a presence. Feel
so
it.
Flurg, after shaking off the illusion, is going to stand up tall and proudly, and he will bleat out, "I challenge you to Rochambeau," and he's
God
going
damn
to run in and just try and punt him in the crotch, see if he drops the soul stone.
Give me a weapon tag. Give me a weapon tag, Dora.
Luke already got mad at us for like making this a really cool fight by having strong characters fight his necromancer, and then you're gonna kick him in the balls.
I'm not saying anything about how upset I am with you, Dora, but
22.
22, that hits.
Oh,
Of course it does.
Can I flurry blows it so if he doesn't go
Yes,
down
you
the
can.
first?
Yeah, you can flurry of bros it.
It's just loads of guys holding beers.
Like 1,000 just like teenage guys just run out of the group, bro, and punch him in the face.
Right. So roll for my damage. That's a 6.
I'm okay with that.
Gonna smash him in the nuts again. left foot this time. That's a 17.
With your
Hits.
massive human legs.
Cool. Yeah, my massive human legs. That's only a 5 this time.
Yep.
And to finish it off with his hoof, gonna just uppercut it.
Okay.
That's a 26.
Hits.
And that's a 10.
10. Okay, so to relay what happens there, I think you go in for the hits, and the first thing you do is you kick a series of like you kick like a rib cage away from it, and then the second kick, like you smash through an arm, and then you see it, just this glistening black scaly groin, and you just rev up your arm like fucking Bugs Bunny leg, like that sort of spin around, and then uppercut it. And Aishal does not drop the soul stone because he does like oh.
Well, I'm gonna impose the effect. But then knocked prone again, so he needs to roll on his dex.
Fuck. He goes fetal.
I want Rochambeau!
Yes.
Okay, Yaga, it's your turn. So while an enemy is prone, you get disadvantage if you hit him with a ranged attack, but you get advantage if you hit him with a melee attack.
Well, I'm right up in his stupid face anyway. I'm gonna keep trying to grab that stone.
We'll just gather around him and start kicking him on the floor.
That's only a 14. I don't think that
Then we
hits.
take his lunch money.
Oh no, you just said I got advantage, eh?
Yeah.
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 19. That's better.
Yeah, boy.
And where's the other one? That's only a 6.
Your acidy claws, like you feel them melt through bone,
Nice.
and the hand just sort of flops off, and the soul stone like clinks out of it. You just sever off his hand, and he screams in agony. George, it's your turn.
Oh, nice. 24.
Please don't kill my boss. He's got one more cool thing I want him to do.
That attack was 20 damage.
20 damage!
Yeah, I got the 12.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, your next attack, please.
Again. Okay, that time, that attack was... Oh, it's 15.
15's a miss.
Is it?
So
Yeah.
his AC is 16.
But you have advantage because he's on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! That I
You're welcome, lads.
do. That one's a 20.
Guys, we should...
That one doesn't hit because the GM doesn't want it to.
Guys,
We can
roll
hear
your damage.
Look, we can hear the hand you're speaking through.
we should
So what
just...
does that mean?
We should just kick people in the nuts.
How much damage, sorry?
often.
Well, I rolled a 20, so how much damage do I deal with that?
Wait, you nat 20'd.
Yeah.
Fine, roll your damage, Tom.
Thank you! So that's, well, that one, well, you'll be pleased to know one of them was only a 3, but it is plus 8, so it's 11. Okay, so altogether, so basically that's... I rolled a 3 and a 9. Well, my attack
Okay.
dice.
So how much is that overall?
20.
20 damage overall. Oh my god, yes, he's 1 point left.
What? I dealt 40 damage
Yes.
to him.
Yep.
Can I?
Yep, he has
can,
1
can-
point left.
Can I fucking just for flair? Can I say that I just rammed my lance into him to pin him down?
Yep.
I'm keeping him.
And I
I'm
think-
keeping him pinned.
On his turn, like a series of the skeletal arms like start to like pull himself up along the lance, like, and he winces in pain with every millimeter he slides up this lance as you hold him down on it.
Gross.
Him still skewered on it as he pulls himself up. It leads this thick black trail of rotting blood along it.
Don't like.
And then one of the skeletal arms reaches out and it touches you,
On the titty.
George. Actually, no. I think it reaches out and it touches Yaga. Yaga, you gain disadvantage on all wisdom checks
Oh no.
until I say so.
No. But I'm
As-
so wise.
Yep. As Ijal, and you feel this like dread this evil, like this unholy energy like enter into your body. And then that burning that's still going on inside of you, Tom.
Yes, he nasty.
You feel dissipate.
Oh.
Yaga, this shot of black lightning fires out from George.
Gross.
Oh!
Does 23 hit your AC?
Don't be stupid. You know it does.
I know it does, but I always have to ask because it makes me feel better about myself. That's 13 points of damage.
Okay.
How much do you have left?
7.
You don't have to tell me that, by the way. Haha! I tricked you. This black lightning enters your body and it burns up. And I think Ajal looks Yaga dead in the eye and says, "If I'm going down, I'm taking one of you with me," and swings with his warhammer.
He has disadvantage.
No, he doesn't. You didn't mark him this turn.
It was implied.
It wasn't said, Thomas.
I throw my travel scrabble at him.
That is a hit, Al.
Mm-hmm.
You take 8 points of damage.
You're a bitch.
I am a bitch. This warhammer crumples and Yaga falls down. Florg, it's your turn.
Just someone hit him once.
He's got 1 HP, boys! If
I'll
only our
be
party...
fine.
It's alright, we'll kill him and he'll fucking explode or some shit.
I'm gonna bite his face off.
Okay. He was so tasty the first time.
Just like go in slowly, like it's for a smooch.
Slowly.
Just,
Wow.
let's make this last.
I somehow missed his face with a
Dora!
pen.
Do you want to use your last one of your key points to make 2 more unarmed attacks so you actually kill him?
The first time he leans in to bite, he has a little tick on his nose and he sneezes and
Sneezes in the villain's face. Just, Achoo!
Oh,
Sorry about that.
Goes to bite, sneezes, ends
No,
up
he's undead. He heals from poison damage.
headbutting him for that is an attack of it's 23. So he went to bite, sneezed, ended up smashing his face in as like his second unarmed attack thing, and that's a 6 damage.
That's all we need.
Okay.
And when he's down dead, I'm just gonna give him one last little kick.
Yep. You sneeze, and when you do, your head cracks into Ajal's head and goes almost straight through it.
Ugh, gross.
Like his skull crumples beneath yours, and the body of Ajal collapses on the still skewered on this spear, and that's
nasty.
the end of Ajal. Hey everybody, welcome to the awkward middle bit of the episode, where this week it's being sponsored by my sniffly nose and the buttload of chocolate I ate to make my mouth all gummy. We want to take this moment to remind you that you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Wackaroll, or you can send us an email at wackaroll@gmail.com. Get in contact with us in any way. We'll get your name added to a pool of potential NPC names. Those of you that did recently, you are in the works. Now, I think most of them will appear in next episode or the episode after that. It really depends on how I cut up this one. Anyway, I'm going to keep things short and sweet this time, not only because I've got a buttload of footage left to edit and this episode goes up tomorrow, but also because there are demons living inside my nose. Stay happy, people. Enjoy the episode. I think that Yaga, with the fight over, I think Yaga, you kind of just get yourself back up eventually.
I'll put myself back on 1 hit point.
George and Flurg rush over to help you up, surely.
Yeah.
It's a shame
Yeah.
I'm the fucking medic.
Yaga, can you stand?
Yes.
You guys, a second Aijal died, you guys rushed over to help Yaga to her feet. Suddenly there's this flash of black light from behind you. And suddenly you hear crying behind you, next to this small trickling river, there is a child. Yaga, what do you do?
I'm gonna go over. I don't think she'll say anything because, you know what my current opinions on kids are.
It's a child. It's maybe around 3 to 4 years old, so toddlerish.
Okay.
It is
And
a baby.
it's sitting there naked with a mop of sandy blonde hair and pointed elvish ears. And the child looks up at Yaga. It sort of does that gross, like, hiccuping cry that children do when, like, they're trying to stop crying but, like, can't. That's the one.
Yeah.
Me, when I stub my toe.
And it reaches out towards you, Yaga. What do you do?
I take its hand.
And I think when you take its hand, you suddenly kind of, like, get removed from your body. You float backwards and you see yourself in full. Your body was that of an elderly elven woman, with a long silvery braid and traditionally elvish pointed ears. And that Yaga lifts the child up into their arms, kind of like awkwardly cradling it over their shoulder. And then beside you, Yaga, there is a spirit of that elvish woman. And Yaga looks to Yaga. Yes, it's going to be this again, by the way, where we're going to have to explain 1,000 Yagas in one go.
I wrote this.
Yeah, you did. Yaga looks to Yaga and says, and that's how it started. I think you know who that child is. I think that the scene kind of shifts. It turns almost like to smoke and blows away. And then you are in a building. This quite cool stone church. It's made of the same sort of sandstone, and you can see the Aegir sun blazing through. But you are still in a quite cool church-like building. You are sitting in one of the pews, talking to a few other members of the Grove. You can see Flurg and George around, not in the same meeting as you, but they're in the building. Everyone's wearing this like quite bare-bone wooden uniform. It is a uniform made of like white cloth with kind of like wooden accoutrement, like wooden shoulder pads and like ivy and vines and such. The Grove is not like a military organization, but a protective one. It protects all life on Suchau. It is an independent force that it consists of people from all around, but it quite often acts out of the glades in Aegir, because that's where a lot of the druids congregated. This is maybe a couple of months since you retrieved the Black Soulstone. It has been returned to its rightful place in the Church of Kelemvor, in what is now the Giram Desert. It's been taking quite a lot getting used to, and you, collaboratively with a lot of the other druids around here, well, Yaga, tried to heal the land, but the Soulstone takes life. It's one purpose, and it took all life from the desert. It took all life from the forests of this land. Luckily, most of the sentient beings were unharmed. Maybe a few of the critters, the squirrels and such, lost their lives, but Aijal's control over the Black Soulstone wasn't good. It wasn't enough to take human or elvish life, mortal life, just the plant life. It still done terrors on the ecosystem here, but it is manageable. You are sitting in this meeting with a few other higher ups in the glade, just in the pews of one of these churches. There are a few civilians around, but they don't take heed. When running around, you see this child again run up to Yaga and take Yaga's hand, and the child grins excitedly and tries to tug at Yaga's arms, like, Yaga, come, play with me. And Yaga says, not now, Orthrus, come on, please. And I think then, this ghost of Yaga, these two ghosts of Yagas, she kind of looks at you and says, we couldn't have known what they were capable of.
Tiny piece of shit.
When you say that, I think Yaga looks almost quite ashamed. The scene kind of flicks again, and it is Yaga and Orthrus outside, and Orthrus is practicing turning into animals. They're not very good at it. They turn into, like, maybe they can get one of their arms to turn into a cat's arm. I'm kind
The
of
leg
thinking
becomes
like,
a swan's neck.
I'm thinking like that one episode of Steven Universe with the cat hands,
Aw.
which is horribly existential and I hate it.
But there's so much
like-
cute little kitty fingers.
Yeah, bits of Orthrus morphing into weird bits of animals as they laugh their head off. And Yaga laughs as well. And the ghost of this Yaga, this is so confusing, turns to you and says, they were always apt with magic. We never really knew where they came from, and they didn't know either. They just sort of were. But they're child.
I'm just kind of absorbing all this. Like,
Yeah, and then the scene flicks, and it is Orthrus practicing quite complex spells, larger spells, like producing vines from nothing, forming and creating water from the air around them, and they are remarkable. They do it with as almost like a second sense, probably stronger than our Yaga, the Yaga you play, could imagine. Much more fluid than you've ever managed to make these sort of things happen. Their spells flow seamlessly into one another, and at this point they're a little older. Maybe if they were 3-4 last time, maybe they're like 7-8 now. And Orthrus looks at Yaga and says, magic is so fun, Yaga. I love this. And they're like, look, I made this game with the magic, and they're showing off like how they create rings of water, and they they make rings of vine and have to shoot little balls of water through it. But Yaga doesn't pay attention. Yaga is taking notes of what Orthrus is doing, almost quite concernedly.
fair.
And there are two other figures in the room, quite elderly gentlemen. One elf, one orc, both wearing the accoutrement of the Grove. Both kind of watching Orthrus quite concernedly. Orthrus is led out of the room, and they say, he's becoming a danger to himself and to everything around him. His connection to magic, to creation of life, and then he kind of looks, and then the orc chimes in and says, the creation of life is tied to the creation of death. Are you sure you can control Orthrus, Yaga? And Yaga says, they're just a child. What's the worst that could happen?
He's a gifted kid. Like, as soon as he gets to high school, he'll get depression and lose all his powers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then we cut to a scene maybe 3-4 years later. You are not in this church. You are standing in a grove. A grove that you recognize quite intimately, Yaga. It's your home. It is a much, much newer version of your cottage. It's freshly painted and quite lovely, really. It's got, like, I'm thinking, and this is really a reference for me and Al here, but like the imagined house at the end of Little Shop of Horrors, that really
Oh
sort
my
of like
god, yes.
like that
I
idyllic
love
cottage.
I love
And then suddenly Seymour, roll initiative.
Shut up.
But it's this sort of like idyllic picket fence in a small like wooded area. And Yaga is standing there, and Orthrus is sitting holding the Black Soulstone.
Whoa, that doesn't seem very... doesn't seem like a good idea.
I think Yaga looks at Orthrus and says, Orthrus, what have you done? And Orthrus smiles and said, it was a fun game. That nice man, the Marquis, he told me how to play. And that was the day that all life in the city of Braystone ended.
Oh no.
In one night, all life in an entire city, most of the dwarven population of Suchau, just vanished. And no one knows how. No one, that is, except for the original Yaga.
It's a lot on her shoulders, eh?
That day, Yaga made a decision. Yaga took Orthrus into the glade next to their home and sealed Orthrus away inside of a great oak tree. You watch it happen. You watch as Yaga takes Orthrus by the hand, leads them to an oak tree that you are, again, so familiar with. You've spent nights under its branches, watching the stars, living. You tie tarps against its great branches to create tents. It is such an important part of your life, this one tree. And Yaga pushes Orthrus, and Yaga pushes Orthrus, and they fall through the wood. And now it's just you and this other Yaga floating in nothingness, in this swirling mist of smoke. And she looks at you.
How did he get out?
Orthrus was young and very impressionable, and the Sanctum figured that out. This Marquis of the Sanctum. We were fighting the Sanctum, the Grove, that is. And you can tell that Yaga's probably just had to watch her most shameful moment, and she's obviously quite taken aback by it and kind of stammering. And
Same
like I
bitch.
said, Yaga sits you down in this smoke, and when she does, you see countless other faces behind her. Faces you all recognize as other Yagas. In fact, you even see Yaga here. The Yaga before you.
Yay.
And the original Yaga, the very first Yaga, the one that sealed
Elf lady.
Orthrus away. Yep. She says, the Grove was fighting the Sanctum. We knew of their existence, and I think you can tell that there's like a lot that they want to say, but they're struggling to find the words for it. And they go, I don't think we have much more time. I've already shown you a lot today. We were given a bell by a wizard. This silver bell by a great wizard of Tavale. He told us to hide it. We hid it with the best place that we could. We got the necromancers in the Grove to open a rift between our world and the astral plane, the material plane and the astral plane, and we hid it. The Black Soulstone can create immense death, enough that it could tear a rift between the two worlds. You saw it happen with Ijal in the glade when we fought him. You dispelled it with just pure daylight. We think the Sanctum now wants the bell. Orthrus is connected to that Black Soulstone. It created them. We think they unleashed Orthrus to get the Soulstone again, to cause another great act of death and open the seal to steal that bell.
God, it's so wild how these fucking cults always want to end the world, eh?
We never know exactly what the Sanctum wants. We don't know who the Marquis is either. All we know is that they talk about a new old world. This world before we remember, and they want that back. I don't know what that entails. I'm sorry.
Did my mentor Yaga know about all this?
That Yaga steps forward, and she kind of looks at you and goes, dearie, it's not Yaga anymore. I'm dead. I'm Alice.
I didn't need to know real names. That's very uncomfortable, teacher.
I think Alice sits down and is like, I didn't know, no. The Yagas, our mission to protect the tree is passed down from one to another until eventually, and I think Alice kind of gives the original Yaga like a bit of like the stink eye and like until like it wasn't written down or anything. You know, it was a mission that was kept in secret and then passed down to a series of people. We just sort of forgot.
Happens.
Eventually.
We are all very old women, aren't we?
And I think there's like you
yes,
see
yes,
like
yes.
a series of the spirits like chuckle. And then
One of them just, where am
I think one by one they start to vanish slowly, and you can tell that your time with these women are coming to an end. Do you have anything else you really want to ask?
How do you know how to pick a student? I can't let this end with me. That would be awful.
I think that they laugh. I think Alice laughs and is like, "I just did."
Oh God.
It's a choice, Yaga. It's not like it's the end of the world or anything. And then the first Yaga's like, "Well, it could be." And then the other and then Alice gives her a cuff around the back of the head. It's like, that's really not helping.
Don't use that tone with me.
Oh, I need to never hear Tom do that voice again.
Like, me doing it is bad enough. I'm awful.
You've gotten better.
Alice is like, dearie, just trust yourself. If you want someone to be your apprentice and they have that knack for magic like you do, then they'll be fine. So long as they want to protect everything too.
What if I accidentally pick an Orthrus?
And the first Yaga again looks ashamed, and then Alice is like, you won't. I trust you.
I do hate that kid.
Maybe I could be the next Yaga.
Oh, Philippe. No.
Philippe.
I figured that's where we were going with that.
This has been nice.
I think that they start to dissipate again, and as they go, the first Yaga is the last to vanish, and she just looks at you and says, find the Church of Kelmfor. That's where the Soulstone is. That's where Orthrus is going. Get it before they do, and then they vanish. And you are sitting on the stage in the underground cavern with the other necromancers and your other party members.
Hello, Yaga. Did you have a good time?
Anybody else have a very plot-heavy dream?
I bet my mother.